I'll explain that, Gary.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. It looks like it's the 7 o'clock. We're fortunate to have tonight with us Mr. David Sexton from the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints to give us our invocation. And then we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our loving Father in heaven, we come to Thee this evening with humble hearts, mindful of the many blessings that Thou hast bestowed upon us. We are grateful for this choice land in which we live, for the land of liberty and freedom that it is, and grateful for its founding and foundation of trusting in Thee. We are also grateful for this great community of Farragut in which we live and reside and work, and ask that Thou would bless us as we work together to strive to maintain this town as a wonderful place to worship Thee and to raise our families. We are especially grateful for Thy love for us and for Thy only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, for His life that He has lived for us, for the great example that He was, and for showing us the manner of men and women that we ought to be. And we are grateful for His death and His glorious resurrection, and for the hope that it gives us for the future. We pray this evening that Thy Spirit would be here with us to guide and direct all those who will participate. We pray that Thou would bless the leaders of this town and of our land, that they would be inspired and that they would seek Thy will in the decisions that they make that affect all of us. And we are also mindful and grateful for those who serve our country, those members of the military and others who work so hard and sacrifice so much for us, and especially for those who have gone before and who have served so honorably. And we ask that Thou would bless us, that through our lives and through the decisions that we make, that we might honor their sacrifice and their commitment to this great land. We are grateful, Father, for all that we have. We love Thee, we honor Thee, and we ask that Thou would continue to watch over, guide us, direct us, and bless us in all that we do. And we dedicate this time this evening to Thee as well, and do this in the name of Thy beloved Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next order of business is the approval of the agenda. There are several items that we're going to delete tonight. Do I hear a motion for that?
I'll move for approval with the deletion of item 1 and 2 under ordinance.
Under the first reading.
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then the agenda will be amended. Under the mayor's report, I don't have anything tonight, but just to say that we hope our mayor is enjoying his vacation, a much-needed rest for him. And do we have anyone for the Citizens Forum tonight? Okay, then moving on with the approval of the minutes, we have 3 sets of minutes to approve. Let's do the minutes from the meeting of May 22nd first.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. And I abstain as I was absent from that meeting.
Okay. All right, the approval of the minutes for June the 12th, and I must abstain from that because I was not here for that.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No, not me. Approval of the minutes for June 26th, 2014.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Actually-
I was absent from that.
Actually, on that one, Alderman Markley was absent.
Was I?
Okay.
So we can't
26th.
vote on that one,
Where was I?
can we?
You were at
Were
a
both of
wedding.
y'all gone?
Where?
You were at a wedding, I believe.
I use that
Memorable
excuse twice
occasion.
now?
It's the beard, it's got you all messed up.
I guess so.
So we
So,
can, we
so,
will-
wait a
Yeah,
minute.
so we'll wait for this for the next meeting.
Okay, so,
Well, I abstained from that one then. The consensus seems to be that I was not here. June 26th?
okay. The next order of business then will be ordinance 1409. Ordinance to amend ordinance 14-06 fiscal year 2015 budget by Allison.
Yes, as you said, the purpose of this agenda item is to approve ordinance 1409, which does amend our fiscal year 15 and capital investment program in the state street aid funds. The capital investment program will be amended by increasing the appropriated expenditures by $272,179. The Turkey Creek Slope project will be $70,600. The funds for the Turkey Creek Slope stabilization project were budgeted in fiscal year 2014 in the amount of $75,000. However, only $9,400 was expended. The remaining $65,600 will be carried over from the previous fiscal year and be appropriated in the current 2015 CIP line item for the Turkey Creek Slope stabilization project. Due to the project costs, an additional $13,000 is needed for this project, and the funds will come out of the CIP reserves. The McPhee Wentworth Greenway will be $193,579. The funds for this project were budgeted in the previous fiscal years in the amount of $262,435, and as of June 30th, 2014, only $24,274 had been expended. Therefore, and the project is currently in progress, so that all the $193,579 will need to be appropriated in fiscal year 2015. The state street aid fund will be increased by $500,000, and this is similar to the amendments we've done the past couple of years. And the reason for that is in hopes to receive better bids for the resurfacing contract, and it has provided a more flexible construction season. So due to this change, the resurfacing project tends to span multiple fiscal years. The resurfacing budget for 2014 was $500,000, but will not be completed until fiscal year 2015. Therefore, the $500,000 will be transferred from the previous fiscal year to the current fiscal year. Motion is made to approve ordinance 14-09 on first reading.
Are there any comments from the board?
I'll move for approval.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right?
Motion carries. That's all under the ordinances. Now we will move to the business items, and that's approval of bids for contract 2015-06 Turkey Creek Road Slope Stabilization.
Yes, in the late 90s, the town improved Turkey Creek Road from Concord Road to just west of Brixworth subdivision. In front of one of the properties out there, I'm not sure the reasoning. I suspect it was to eliminate an impact to that property. Part of that, the design of that project left a very steep slope across the frontage at the Rebecca Goin property. It's about a 0.8 to 1 slope, very steep for this area of the country. Over the last few years, we have had some real issues with that slope. I don't know if you've seen it. There's silt fence at the bottom of it. We've had, usually after very strong rains, we've had some problems with the slope has just slumped down into Turkey Creek Road. I know Public Works has been out there at least a couple of times to remove a large amount of dirt that had fallen onto the sidewalk and into the roadway. So in the interest of public safety, we have initiated this project to lay that slope back. And I don't know, was that included, that design, was that included in the overhead? There we go. Hard to tell on this overhead. Sorry about that, folks. But we're laying back this cut slope into the Goin property. We're going to lay it back on a 2-to-1 slope and then sod the thing so that we will have a more stable slope. We received 7 bids on July 1st. I'll go through those bids for laying back this slope and repairing any sidewalk damage that comes up as part of this. Whaley & Sons bid $70,503. Home Source bid $74,800. Charles Blaylock and Sons bid $79,435. Hodges Group bid $79,600. J&D Excavating bid $87,625. McKinnon Construction bid $101,312, and ES&H bid $169,837.64. So obviously we got quite a bit of interest on this. We do feel like we have a reasonable amount on the low bid. We had several that were fairly close to that. Whaley & Sons, I don't think the town has contracted directly with Whaley & Sons in the past, but they're a very reputable firm that has done a lot of work in the area. They come very highly regarded, and so staff would recommend award of contract 2015-06 to Whaley & Sons for their low bid of $70,503.
Any comments from the board?
Darrell, I had a couple questions. Given the spread on the estimates, is there anything particularly tricky about this project to warrant that kind of a variety of estimates, or is this fairly straightforward to take care of?
It's a fairly straightforward project. There are a number of things that had to be considered, one of which is the fact that in order to reduce the cost, to make it much easier to do, we are going to close Turkey Creek Road for a period of about 28 days.
Oh, my God.
It's unfortunate that we have to do that, but the limits of this project are such that traffic that is trying to go through and misses the signs saying no through vehicles will be able to turn around in subdivision streets on either end of this project. We hate to close any road, but if they were to try to maintain traffic while up there on the bank and trying to excavate the dirt and load it into a stopped dump truck, it would be very difficult and would probably stretch the length of the project out. It could be a few weeks to do it that way, and that would certainly run up the cost. This is kind of a rip the Band-Aid off approach, and let's get the thing done.
How long did you say it might take to do this?
It could easily be, I think we have David Sparks, there's 28 days in the contract that we're allowing for closure of right. The one thing that is going to be an issue is when they're out there with heavy equipment to lay this slope back, they're going to be all over the sidewalk and the curb and gutter on Turkey Creek Road, on that side. And most likely that sidewalk will be destroyed and will have to be put back. So we built that into the contract to allow for payment for replacement of sidewalk as well as the curb and gutter. Would be nice to think that we can get away with without having to replace sidewalk or curb and gutter, but it's not likely. We're probably going to be doing that.
Are we pretty good on this type of situation not happening again? This is kind of an expensive situation to come up from 17, 18 years ago when you referenced that apparently we were trying to appease somebody and we wound up with a much steeper slope than we probably should have, and now we're paying the price for that.
I can guarantee that I would never sign off on this type of situation.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board?
Yeah, Darrell, I just had a question. How long is this cut? What's the? I don't see a scale here. I can't really.
I'm sorry. That's about 400 feet. From one end to the other is about 400 feet long. Now there are two utility poles, one of which is going to be replaced. Working with the utilities, that's going to be a little bit of an issue while this is going on, but it's an LCUB pole. We've been in contact with them, and they do have a plan to replace it pretty quickly. And once they are off of the existing pole, the greatest forces on that pole will be gone away, and the contractor will be able to work around the thing.
Okay, thanks.
Then do I hear a motion to accept this bid, approval of this bid?
I'll move
Motion.
for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Darrell, I would like to ask you about the McPhee Wentworth Greenway, if we can, just
Sure.
to see what the progress is and how's it going.
They set the new bridge Tuesday right before lunch, and I did not bring a single photograph of that. I'm sorry. We'll bring it to the next board meeting. We got a great video of it.
Oh, good.
It's on the network. I don't know if you want to try to pull it up.
I went by there yesterday, but only I could just see the what you'd done on the side
If
of
you
the
go through the
side of
construction
our
tape,
house.
you can walk across the bridge now, but I don't recommend that. See if you can.
Nice job on the Watt Road, too. That, I had a chance to drive that last night, coming back from the Atlanta area, and that was my first time on it, the extension. It looks very
Yes,
nice.
it does look
Go to
good.
engineering.
Engineering.
Was it an engineering?
Yeah.
Then engineering. Contracts. 2014. Wentworth, McPhee Wentworth.
There at the bottom.
Did anyone besides myself receive a call from someone inquiring for the
Photos again.
lady that we purchased the project or the right of way across the creek from that apparently the town hadn't honored all their commitments to her as far as fencing and whatnot to protect her property. Did anybody else receive a call?
Was that from
I've-
Mrs. Floyd, Fran Floyd?
It was from someone, a friend,
Just
who's
advance.
concerned about it.
I met with her a couple of weeks ago, and I've talked with her a couple of times since then, so I can update you.
Okay, we think we have that resolved.
I hope so. Well, we're going to be working with her after this is, as it comes to completion.
Okay,
Looking good,
Am I just looking for a bridge?
yeah.
Go back to
nice tires.
go farther down,
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
halfway down, or
If you go
close to the
bottom,
end.
it should-
That is
Yeah,
the end.
go to the bottom.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
There you go.
Now-
That's a good shot.
Oh, that's it.
Back up a little bit, you may see it, yes, still, just as they're setting it.
Nice.
That's a 70-foot-long structure.
Now, was that made and delivered from somewhere else?
Yes, that came in one piece. They picked it up from the back of a truck, swung it over, and dropped it into place in one attempt.
It's going to really be nice.
Oddly
I've
enough,
spoken
everything
to,
fit, too.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say.
Love it when that happens.
Nice.
there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Good shot.
That is a very large crane that was,
Well, that's really good. I'm glad I asked about it, so we get to see the pictures.
it's scheduled.
Well, thanks.
Nice.
Thanks,
Nice.
Allison, for doing that.
Can't wait to run across that.
Okay, next order of business is the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just a couple things tonight. One is we have a new fellow with us from MTAS. Her name is Athanasia Lewis. She's over here in the front second row. She just started a couple of weeks ago, and she's going to be working with us, and then from there going on to Oak Ridge in the cities of Alcoa and Maryville during her fellowship with 2 years of work, and then she'll come back here after she's swung through all those cities and have another. We'll have her again this time next year. So we're looking forward to having her, and thank her for everything she's doing for us.
Welcome to Farragut. Thank you for being here to help us.
Our other person you probably haven't seen in a while is down at the end down there, Assistant Town Administrator Gary Palmer, and he is back from being Harvard educated, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his trip and the education he got up there.
Forgot to wear the ascot tonight, so I apologize. Yeah.
Like spaghetti beans.
I'm glad to be back, first of all. I haven't been here in about 3 months, so it's good to see you all. I can't say I missed the night meetings, but they, at the end of the 3 weeks, they told us we would have a difficult time when we got back, trying to sum up exactly what the program was about. I sat down today and tried to write some notes just to kind of give you guys an idea of what that 3 weeks was really for, and really what I kind of captured when I reflected on it was that the whole program itself was I'd say probably 90% classroom based, and it involved a lot of case study in local government. And I think out of that, it produced a really good environment for all these local government leaders, 61 of them, to have an open forum where they could have that open dialogue and exchange with each other, along with the professors and the folks in there teaching the courses, and really learning and practicing how to continue that dialogue to affect change in their communities and in their states. So I think that's really what in my mind, what captures that program. Again, it was 3 weeks, very intense, a lot of reading. I'd say we probably read not less than 50 individual cases, real life cases, and actually discussed them. And they used, which I really didn't care for, the Socratic method, where you had to actually stand up and argue your case, and they would put you in arguments against other people, and which at the time I didn't like it, but in thinking on it, it was good because it helps you to kind of have that dialogue and not get angry with one another, and really leads to some good discussion with other folks and other communities that have similar problems, which I always enjoy that. That's one of the things you kind of forget, is that even in a small community, we have problems that are similar to problems that larger communities have. We had some folks from New York City that have some of the same problems that we have going on, with engagement and with some other issues that are characteristic of just living in a city. So there was a fair amount of group work along with it. It was very, we all lived together in one housing complex in the business school. I had 2 roommates. One roommate was the assistant director for the Department of Revenue for the state of Washington. And you haven't been watching the news, they just legalized recreational marijuana out there without having any controls on the recouping of the taxes for that sale. So he's, I just talked to him the other day. He's in a panic because they have nothing in place out there, and they're getting ready to receive all these funds from the recreational sales out there. So that was interesting hearing about that dynamic. My other roommate was the assistant attorney general for the state of Rhode Island, so it was fascinating hearing some of the things that he had to talk about. And I calculated the numbers. I thought you might find this interesting on the breakdown of the class. So we had 4 elected state representatives in there. We had 8 local elected representatives like yourself in there. We had 12 appointed state and county officials. We had 28 appointed local officials, varied from, we had a handful of police chiefs, we had a handful of city managers, handful of assistant city managers in there. And then we had 9 foreign officials in there, which was getting their perspective on things that are happening in other countries I thought was fascinating, because again, they're having the same issues we are. So in all total, it was a class of 61, and I guess time will tell whether this $13,000 was worth the trip out there. So I'm glad to be back.
Were there any women in the class?
I'd probably say it was at least probably 50-50, I would say.
Good.
So it was a very, very diverse, very dynamic class. There was never any downtime where there weren't discussions going on, and I loved it, hearing all the discussions and engaging with folks from all over the place. It was great. It was a good program. So I'm glad to be back, though.
Well, we're proud of you
Thank
to
you.
have been
I
able to
appreciate
go.
And again, I appreciate the support that Dave and you all have given me with taking the time off and doing this stuff. And hopefully I'll be grounded for a while. I'm not going anywhere. So, I'm a little burnt out. Right?
Good deal. Thanks, Gary, for sharing that with us. The other thing we had last week was just an outstanding parade. I think the staff did a wonderful job getting the parade ready to go. It was really a team effort. We had a full house. It was just a packed crowd out there, one of the best ones we've had in a long time, and perfect weather for it. So just a perfect Independence Day. So we really appreciate all the hard work the staff put in on that. That's all I have to report.
And our town attorney is not present tonight, so we do not have a report from that. Is there any other business to come before the board? If not, then the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being here.